let me just say a few words and then I'll shut up and I'll let Kimberly and John and Yvonne take this away. This is going to be a very engaging and happy and insightful session. We're going to talk about organizational cultures, but I'll let Kimberly tell you all about that in a second. Just a quick 30-second plug for those of you who do not know Voler Systems. So I'm the SVP of Sales and Marketing here at Voler, and essentially we offer design services and development support for medical devices and wearables and IoT, anywhere from the back of the napkin, your ideation, your schematic designs and architectural designs, all the way through proof of concept and prototyping. And if it's a medical device, the FDA certifications, classes 1, 2, and 3. If it's an IoT device, we help with the sensors and the battery power and the wireless connectivity. And we do a lot of work with motion control. So whether you're an early stage startup, an established company, a partner of ours, and I recognize some names there, feel free to give us a call and let's talk about how we can help you guys have a great 2023. But today, as part of our monthly thought leadership webinar series, I'm delighted to introduce you to 3 folks who know how to do fun and engaging webinars. We've been stuck in this Zoom world for 3 years since the pandemic, and we're missing human connection, and we're missing a little bit of purpose in our video conferencing. I think today will be delightful. And whether you guys can stay just 30 minutes or you guys can stay an hour or even longer, stick around, because I think it'll be not just fun, but more importantly, it will be beneficial to you and your businesses and your team. So yeah, without further ado, I'm as intrigued as everybody else is, Kimberly and John. And we did not prepare for this. We did not do a dry run. I'm just trusting you implicitly. So run with it.
Ooh, that's going to figure into our discussions, Miguel. And I want everybody to know this is going to be a mind expanding experience. Here my head is stuck inside of a coronavirus. Oh my God. But we're going to get out of that. We're going to expand. And you're here not to watch. We're not here to tell you stuff or teach you stuff. We're here to invite you to play along with us and enjoy exploring something very important to every organization. And I'm not going to show a bunch of PowerPoints, but this is titled Organizational Culture, Creating an Organization that Doesn't Suck Your Will to Live like so many of them do. Kimberly Wiefling, I'm a physicist by education, worked at HP for 10 years. I wrote some books. I'm going to give away some of these as prizes for those of you who are wildly enthusiastic in participating. I have lots of clients now for the past 20 years after 3 failed startups in Silicon Valley, been mostly consulting with Japanese companies. I wrote a book, Scrappy Project Management. I wrote another workbook about inspired organizational cultures. Scrappy Project Management was translated into Japanese. I can't read Japanese. So I'm here with my buddy, Yvonne. And Yvonne, tell them about yourself and then do a little warm-up stretch, Yvonne.
Okay, everyone. I'm Yvonne Burton. I was born on a beautiful island of Jamaica in the West Indies, grew up in New York on Long Island, went to school upstate New York, and lived in Osaka, Japan for almost 10 years. I've worked in technology for many years, and now I use that as my consulting business, where I am a cross-cultural expert, technology consultant, and I specialize in virtual tools expertise. I work with clients all over the world and sometimes also with Kimberly and her clients. Wonderful to be here with you today, and we are going to get really warmed up. I know we're virtual, but we can still get some jazz and pep in our step. So I want you to follow me.
I want to see everybody. Let's all get on the same page here.
We can go to gallery. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, John. All right. So please, if you don't have your camera on, please turn it on because we want to see you stretch.
Or
We're
not,
going to
you can do it with your camera off, like if you're naked or something. Okay, it's okay.
Hey, I want to see anybody who's naked. Come on.
No,
Okay.
it's not like we haven't, right, Yvonne? Whenever we were having meeting and one guy is dressed in a blue business shirt and he gets up to walk away and he's in his underwear and we're like, Dave, you don't have any pants on.
All right. So join us in what we call the YWLT stretch. Ready, Kimberly?
Yeah, ready.
Why are we here?
We're here to figure out how to make your organization rock so people jump out of bed excited to go to work in the morning.
Okay. What is our purpose?
To help people experience it, like the Learning Lab, not to know it. We know how to lose weight. It still doesn't help, but to experience it.
Yes. And L, what does L stand for?
Leadership. There's a huge problem with leadership in this world, and we're going to fix it together.
All right. And T is for?
Teams. There's no I in team, but there is an I in win. Someone told me. Cynic.
Okay. So shout it out when I ask you for a Y. Give me a
Why?
There you go. Give me a W.
W.
L.
L.
And T.
T.
Yay, team. Thank you.
And
All
then
right.
Thank you, Yvonne. And let's introduce our other wonderful colleague today, John Chen. Take it away, John. Give him a dose of what you bring to every experience.
John, I'm throwing you my relax ball.
Thank you, Yvonne. Hey, I'm John Chen, and I'll be your producer here today. I'm the author of a book called Engaging Virtual Meetings. Now, how did I get here? Well, I used to do in-person team building, and then this little thing in March happened. And so this is what my March of 2020 looked like. But let's Peabody. I know there's some engineers out here. I looked at my past. Who remembers this thing? Somebody?
Oh, my God.
Walt is saying yes. Walt, unmute. What is this thing?
That's how you talk to people before there were websites.
That's right, Walt. Thank you. Pre-AOL, it was the first graphical based interface. So we've been trying to tell people for decades that we could do this. I even wrote a book on it in 2011. So I'm sitting in my office. I don't make vaccines, but I did make virtual meetings better. I put a class on Eventbrite. 5,000 people took it. My publisher came back and said, "Hey, do you want to write your second book?" I said, "Sure." And in the cruelest joke from my publisher, they said, "We don't know how long this coronavirus thing's going to last, so could you hurry the book?" So I wrote the book in 9 weeks.
9 weeks?
Yep. Hit the Amazon #1 hot new release and in October of 2020. And now I spend the majority of my time designing, producing, as well as speaking at and emceeing virtual meetings. Now, the one thing I want you to do is now go to the chat window. And this organization is about organizations that suck. Now, I used to work at Microsoft for a decade. I would just love to hear something that sucked, right, in your past history. So here, I'll share you one. In my suck, I had a manager who stole my project, right? And that was something that sucked. Organizations that suck your will to live. Let's see who's got the suckiest version here. Feel free to hit the chat. Let's see those who hit the chat. Justin is thinking. Walt is contemplating.
Let's see, what do we have here? Okay, my colleague spread a false rumor that I was sleeping with my manager.
Oh my God.
I reported to 2 different managers at the same time and they hated each other.
Miguel.
Corporate politics in general suck. Sharp elbows, yes. Yes.
There's enough experience in this room. I'm sure there's something worse than this here somewhere.
Oh,
but
crap.
these are pretty good. Kimberly, I can't believe that. They false
Oh,
rumor.
yeah. And you know what? And he calls me up that night and says, "What did I do to make people think we were sleeping together?" And I said, "Oh, I know. When they say what an asshole you are, I tell them he's always been fair to me, but don't worry, that won't happen anymore."
Back to you, Kimberly. Thank you all for the
Okay.
chat. Feel free to chat at any time.
Okay, so I want you to realize there are some prizes to be won. My book, another book, the workbook, and also a book written by a bunch of my colleagues. I'm going to send these prizes to people who happen to win certain things today. The first challenge I want to tell you about you're going to have to guess the top causes of failure in teams. Now I'm going to share my screen and just show you a little bit, but I don't want you to cheat. No using so-called Google Sensei. But organizations are failing for completely predictable and avoidable reasons. Look at these bozos drinking beer in a swimming pool with electricity like that. Oh my God. All right. So this is fact. I'm a physicist, master's in physics, and I like facts. Over 80% of global teams failed to reach their goals, according to an MIT survey published in Sloan. Now, I want you to, let's do a whiteboard. Let's launch a whiteboard and have people guess the top causes of failure in global teams as reported by MIT. So go ahead and annotate. Yvonne, you want to help us out with annotate?
Okay, quickly, if you have the latest version of Annotate, look down at the bottom left. You should see a little pencil that will open your Annotate menu. If not, look at the top of the screen, green bar. To the right, View Options. Hit the little drop-down arrow. You'll see Annotate. Select the T. Place your cursor on the whiteboard and start typing. And if you do not have access to Annotate, put it in the chat and I'll copy and paste it on the board for you.
Ooh, I see some of you have worked in these organizations. And just
Right,
group those.
okay.
Yeah, cool.
Michael, I'll add it to the board for you. Do not worry.
Thank you, Yvonne.
I think this whiteboard deserves the song MC Hammer, You Can't Touch.
Oh, hell yes.
Make that a little bigger.
Oh, sorry. I'm starting to learn how to swear in front of the children for my friend's sake. So I'll say things like mother forklift, shut the front door, back the truck up. I'll try to not swear anymore today.
All right. Okay. Ooh, Michael, you are on fire.
Ah, ooh, I'm sure you've heard about these things from other people's companies, right? You haven't personally experienced them.
Thank you, Val.
Ah,
Okay.
beautiful. Wow. Okay, let's take 10 more seconds. I guess we're getting all depressed by focusing on this stuff. All right, here. So lack of communication, no focus on clear goals, poor leadership, many pivots, process over people, blame, not invented here, micromanagement. Oh my goodness, there's so many ways to make it suck. Ah, sorry, people. Unclear goals. All right, well, we're going to save this and we're going to stop this one. And I'm going to show you what the data says. You know, it's research. It's about averages. And my head's in the oven. My feet are in the freezer. On average, I feel fine. So averages don't describe everything, but we can learn from it. So, all right, bad communication. So let me just share with you the results of this research. And let's see if you're just shocked and horrified. Number one, they failed to build trust. Did anybody put trust? If so, did anyone put trust? If so, you put it in the chat. You're going to win a book. No?
I'm looking at the piece here that I have.
Be honest. We know we can look at that whiteboard. Okay. Now, all right. Uh-oh.
I do not see trust on this board.
Okay, well, sorry. The number one cause of failure, they failed to build trust. Let's keep this in mind because we are going to figure out what does it take to destroy trust. I love the dark side, and then how can we build it? Number two was communication. Now, some people think, oh, it was global team, so it must be language. But it's not only language. It is about they didn't have a way to solve problems together. And they did not have a decision-making process that they could use as a team. So it's not just language and culture, it's communication, including problem solving and decision-making methodologies. Number 3 and 4 are related. Number 3 is the individual and team goals were not aligned. And number 4, team vision and goals were unclear. Oh my goodness. So let me just ask you, whose job is it to make sure the teams trust, there's great communication, there's clear, shared, and aligned goals? Whose job is it, people? Shout it out.
It's everybody's.
Everybody.
I would hope so. I would hope so. This is completely a failure of leadership. And I distinguish leadership from management because unfortunately, well, let me just give you a little quiz here. Let me just share this with you. I want to show the scene and ask you, where are the leaders in this organization?
Kimberly, do you want them to just reply to you or
Yeah,
chat?
shout it out or put it in the chat.
Anybody can be a leader here.
That's right. Anybody
Yeah.
could be a leader. The top of the organization has the managers, but anybody can be a leader and leading from any chair without position or title, meaning you make sure your people, your teams trust. You make sure you have great communication, wonderful ways to solve problems and make decisions. You make sure that you have clear, shared, and aligned goals. It's ridiculous, but less than 30% of people can even recognize their own emotional state. How are we going to work together with people who are that unconscious? All right. And let's talk about another thing. Okay, here's a chance for you to win a book. What percent, put it in the chat, what percent of people would prefer to work for a robot instead of a manager? Let's put it in the chat and we'll see who comes closest. You'll win one of the books.
Kimberly, isn't this
50%?
100% now with AI?
100%. John, you cynic, you're worse than me.
All right. So we have 50%, 0%, 90%, 10%, 1%, 30%.
Okay. Well, sorry, no, that's not it. According to one study, 63% of people would actually trust a robot more than their manager. Sorry, trust. So who was closest to 63%?
Let's see. I think Miguel
And John
Yeah.
Templeton,
and John.
Miguel's our host.
Let's
Oh my-
give my book to John. John was close. John was close too.
Okay, so which book you
Okay.
want, John?
Sorry,
Yeah.
something's not right.
Organizational cultures.
Minutes and try setting up a.
Ideas into impact.
All right, put your address in the chat and I'll send that one to you. All right.
Okay.
All right, great. I'll also include some kind of rubber chicken. I'm not sure which one.
Perfect.
So now that we know about trust, that number one cause of failure in teams is lack of trust, and that people trust a robot more than their manager, 63%. Let's do another whiteboard on how to destroy trust, and we'll use dark side. So we'll launch a whiteboard, and we'll, on the left-hand side, we'll put our most clever ideas of how we personally, not someone else, but we can contribute to reducing or destroying trust. So just go ahead on the left-hand side, a couple of ideas, how to damage or destroy trust in an organization. I'll just make a little line here, stay on the left-hand side. Destroy or damage. Ooh, that's my favorite one. Don't keep promises. Trust is the result of making and keeping promises.
I'll add what's in the chat to the board.
Oh, thank
so
you, my
do
friend.
not worry.
Yep, don't keep your commitments, don't make your promises. Don't keep your promises. Lie, cheat, steal. As a matter of fact, there was research at Santa Clara University. Has anybody read the book, The Leadership Challenge? The Leadership Challenge, we have found that in tens of millions of people all over the world, over 80% of them said, if you're not honest, I will not willingly follow you. I might follow you because you pay me, but I'm going to do it kind of hesitantly and not willingly. And that means either not engaged or actively disengaged people working for you. All right. Oh, look how easy it is to come up with all kinds of ways to destroy trust. Excellent. Now let's do this. Let's just go ahead and stamp the ones that you say, yeah, I get that. That's the most important. Go ahead and stamp whichever ones you think are the most important.
On the
Okay.
animation. Yeah, go ahead, Yvonne.
So on the same menu, you see a stamp function. You highlight it. You can choose an X, a check mark, a heart.
Right. Beautiful.
Everybody found the check mark.
Wow. Okay, that's easy. They make that easier. All right. Okay, now let's just very thoughtfully, let's reverse a couple of these and let's put down on the right-hand side the most important things for you. If you were going to build or strengthen trust in your team, in your organization, what would you say? What would you do? It should be pretty simple, right? We can just reverse these things, and you might want to put a little more nuance to those. So how do we personally contribute to strengthening or building trust in our organizations? Take your time, think about it.
This song goes out
Right.
to Miguel. I just want to dance with somebody. Isn't that how you build trust, Miguel?
That's right. That's one way.
Thank you, John. You always got the right thing. Oh, we got to move those words. Don't worry if the words overlap. John will move them around. Yes, thank you.
Thank you,
Mm.
my Ooh,
Beautiful.
my
Right
chat
lines, right
people.
word. Yeah, that's right. Thank you,
Okay.
Yvonne. Wow. Yeah. In a lot of places, these things are in the values. You know, the values that they hang on the wall or put in the corporate brochure or put on the corporate website. Have you seen those values? A lot of them are bullshit, excuse me. Huh. All right, let's save this. Thank you. Beautiful. Well, let's before we stop it, let's just go ahead and put some hearts next to the ones that are most meaningful for you. Just go ahead and stamp with some hearts or whatever you want. You don't ever have to obey my instructions. You just do whatever you want. Oh yeah, the opposite of everything on the left side. Who's Mr. Efficiency there? Okay. All right. Yes. And just think about what it feels like to be in an environment like that right-hand side. What does it feel like to be where you can be open and honest, transparent? Your opinion matters. You're respected. Team members can make decisions. People say what they do and do what they say. There's empowerment. Oh my goodness. Congruency. Beautiful. So let's save this and let's go back and let's continue on and see what the impact of some of these behaviors are. So I just want to just let you know, there's been 30 years of research on this kind of stuff. 30 years of research on what it takes to be one of the best leaders on planet Earth. It's called the Leadership Challenge. It's written by a book written by two guys at Santa Clara University, just south of where I live in Silicon Valley. And it basically tells you 5 practices and 30 behaviors. Just do it more, and people will think you're a better leader. The Leadership Challenge. And then what we'll talk about next is 30 years of research from Gallup Institute. Gallup Institute studies employee engagement. So who knows what employee engagement is? Anybody want to shout out your impression of what it means? Employee engagement?
Just feel free to unmute.
Yeah.
That's when employees are eager to participate.
Ooh, I love it. Let's add on. And what else? Go ahead, Justin. You got something for us? Unmute. Or are you just like wrapping?
It's incredibly important to stay focused and dial in to the extent one is able, and to maintain as much presence no matter what's going on.
Ooh, oh, beautiful. So that would be an engaged employee. Anyone else have any other sense of what does it mean? Engagement. I mean, it's not like you're going to get married, right?
Are they making their best contribution? Right.
Pardon, Noah?
Are they making their best contribution?
Best contribution. Oh, I love that.
And expanding, I think. Or
Ooh, I
growing.
love that. That's good. So let me show you. There's 3 kinds of employees, according to Gallup research. Engaged. They come to work ready to do their best work, as she said, and be the highest and best version of themselves and give discretionary effort. Then there's the not engaged. They come to work for a paycheck and go home And if there's something that they could do to really make a difference to the company, but it's, 5:01 p.m., forget it. And then there's the actively disengaged who are actively working against their own companies, actively working against their own companies. Now, please go ahead and annotate on here, what percentage do you think globally in the whole world, what percentage of employees do you think are engaged? Go ahead, you can annotate or put it in the chat or just shout it out.
Actively engaged? Is that what you said, Kimberly?
Actively engaged, what percent?
So again, you can go to view options, annotate, and then select text again.
Yeah, let's see,
Right.
20% in globally. Don't look it up, no fair cheating, okay.
All right. In chat, we're seeing 30%, 20%, actively 15%.
Oh, nice, okay, fine. All right, well, we're gonna take a shot of that, Yvonne, and then we're gonna clear that. And good. So here's the facts. The last time I checked, disengaged was 85 to 90%. So engaged globally was 10 to 15%. Look at this guy. Look at his job is. Can you imagine that being your job? This is a real picture. I didn't make this up. So US employees, the US are the most engaged in the world, 30%. The most engaged in the world. And then, the number one cause, anybody can guess the number one cause of low employee engagement? Ooh, there's a book by Gallup that gives it away. It's the manager. And that's why there's this kind of book out there. This kind of book. Yes, there are books called Boss Hole. Okay. And you don't need to read the book, okay? All you need to do is buy this book and place it on your desk facing out where your manager will see it. And there was a website where you could actually there was a website where you could actually purchase this book and have it sent anonymously as a gift. And one guy was calling them complaining because he got so many copies of it. Okay. Now, so I want you, before I show you the research, and don't look it up, I want you to think, what makes employees engaged? So how about we go into breakout rooms, maybe 5 or 6 people in a room, and you just think about what would cause people to be fully engaged at work and what would cause them to be disengaged or not engaged, actively disengaged. So if you go into breakout room and you have nobody there, you can have a few minutes of break, or you can come back and hang with us. So Yvonne, can we just do some breakout rooms and see if people can have a smaller conversation? What really engages people?
Here we go, Kimberly. I'm going to hit the button for the breakout rooms. 3, 2, 1. Actually, Kimberly, there aren't any breakout rooms. You are in the breakout room of everybody.
I am. Okay, there's no breakout rooms. All right. Well, so why don't we do this? Let's just throw the ball around. How about Stacy? What's one thing you would do if you wanted people to be actively engaged at work?
Want them to do to get actively engaged?
To get your teammates, your people, even your manager, if they're not a boss hole.
One-on-ones. So more conversation, intimate, if you will, conversation with either the colleague or a manager to understand better what is going on.
Ooh, and maybe listen to their opinions, like their opinions matter. Oh, all right. Throw something, don't break it, nothing valuable. Throw something to the next person, Stacy.
All right, I'll throw my stapler. How about that?
All right. Be careful who's ever catching that.
Noah.
Noah. Is it Noah? Okay, no.
Thank you. Yeah, it's Noah.
What did you catch? I want to see what you caught. Did you catch like a little smiley face or perhaps an alpaca? Uh-oh, she's muted now, so I can't hear her cussing me out. Good.
I would make sure that the passion of the person aligns up with what they're doing.
Oh, you mean you wouldn't ask a fish to have a job of climbing a tree?
And I wouldn't.
No, get a squirrel, people. If you
And
want to
humor
climb a
too.
tree, get a squirrel. All right. Noah, now you throw to one more person, Noah, please.
I'm gonna throw this to Miguel.
Oh, that's cute. Is it a little pen? It's a pen, huh?
Yeah, it's a pen.
Oh, Miguel caught a dog.
I caught a dog. Milo.
Beautiful.
Looks like a doodle.
Yeah, it's a mixture of poodle and Bichon Frise and Cavalier King Charles. But thank you, Noah, for
Oh,
throwing me a dog. Definitely communicate early, communicate often, and just have folks see the vision and embrace the vision and be part of the vision. I love that analogy. You've heard this, Kimberly, where this king asks a carpenter, what's he doing? I'm just building this wall. And then what are you doing? I'm just building a room. And then finally he asks the final carpenter, I'm building a dream of a cathedral that will inspire
yes.
and bring people to beautiful visions of bliss, whatever. So it's bring people
Yes.
along on that cathedral vision.
Yes, I'm not laying bricks. I'm not building a building. I'm creating a community around this wonderful church. Thank you, Miguel. Beautiful. So I'm going to show you what 30 years of research says. Employee engagement, if you can get people in your company, if you can get them to say yes to 12, if you can get them to say yes to these 12 questions, they will be fully engaged. So let's just go and see what it is. Not those ones. No, why do you care? Okay, it's the manager's the biggest cause. That's not the only cause. And if you have highly engaged employees, look what you get. Everything gets better. Profits, sales, productivity, customers, everything is better. All the bad stuff gets lower. And here's the 12 questions they need to say yes to. And I'm going to just let this sit here. I'm going to make it even bigger to make it easier for you. Check it out. Start at the bottom. People need to say yes to these 12 questions to be the most engaged in the world. Number 1, I know what's expected of me at work. Number 2, I have the materials and equipment to do my job. Okay, let's just guess what percentage, I know you're getting tired of this, but what percentage of the people in the US say yes to these 2 questions? Go ahead, put it in there in the chat, or else put it on here with annotate. What percent of employees in the US say, yes, I know what's expected of me at work, and I have materials and equipment to do my job?
All right, 80%,
Huh!
10%,
Oh, okay, now you're more cynical than me.
75%,
Oh, dear Lord. It's actually
42.5%.
It's 41% last time I checked. Only 40% of people in the US know what's expected of them and have the tools to do their job. Hey, if your manager is not helping you with this, what the heck are they doing? Now let's go up the list here. Do I do what I do best every day? Like what Noah said, don't have a fish climbing trees. Get recognized, recognition and appreciation. It's so easy. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Then someone cares about me. They encourage me. My opinion matters. Mission, purpose. I think you were talking about that. You know, Miguel, the mission and purpose. You're building a community, not laying bricks. Coworkers care about quality. Best friend at work. I made progress. I can learn and grow. Okay, so we're going to grab this. I'm going to stop sharing this, but I'm going to just show you what happens when you look at these numbers a little different way. Okay. Companies on the left, where they're highly engaged, this is what they say. Like 92% of them say someone has talked about my progress. In low engagement companies, only 13% say yes to that. So if you look at all this, this is a lot of work to make sure people say yes to this. And you know what this stuff is? This is what my friends in the engineering world call, ready for it? Touchy-feely crap. Yes, it's touchy-feely crap. Come on, Walt, what do you call it? You're an engineering guy, right?
Well, I graduated from being an engineer. I don't call it touchy-feely.
Thank you so much. So we like to call it human skills, because people started calling it soft skills. And I was like, the soft skills are the hardest. I mean, I went to college for 7 years. I only took one class on any kind of human skills. It was called communication. And I asked the teacher, how can I prevent people from speaking to me? That was my question back then. So my crazy dream is that nobody graduates from even high school without having some experience building trust, communicating effectively, solving problems, making decisions, and setting clear, shared, aligned goals. Wouldn't that be cool if we could fail for new and more exciting reasons, not for completely predictable and avoidable reasons? Oh, dear Lord.